world to not realizing that this is the biggest story unfolding before their eyes.
Surrounded by friggin' UFOs.
Of a UFO battle in orbit around Earth.
I believe that's 0428.
In a new attempt by the Defense Department, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office has basically been used as a pawn to deflect us from the real existing UFO phenomenon. Now, this embarrassing attempt to basically say nothing to see here, with the overwhelming evidence of UFOs coming out daily through daily witness sightings, videos, first-hand evidence, and also the large history of UFO sightings throughout our previous recent history, is incredible for them to basically be saying nothing to see here, shut shop. It just makes it so obvious that they are hiding something. As this document states here, it tells you that the result is a misleading report, particularly egregious misrepresentation. The result is a misleading report which, like so many government UFO-related propaganda over 7 decades, tells the reader just to move on, nothing to see here. And that is exactly what's happening now throughout the ages. You can see a pattern here of a cover-up. It's so obvious.
That this pile of steaming dog turd was going to be a cover-up, and it is. It's an egregious, fraudulent misrepresentation on the American public of the truth of what I and many people know. And the irony is, it's going to backfire terribly on the Defense Department and the intelligence community.
I'm amazed at the job that these media folks did. Amazed and disappointed that they just ran with it. They took this report and ran with it. You know, the Washington Post and New York Times are places where the Dave Grush story went to die. Oh, it just doesn't meet the standards of the Washington Post. They won't take Dave Grush and other whistleblowers' word for it, but they will take AARO's word for it and just run with it, carte blanche.
Yeah, and then there's Dave Grush testifying in front of Congress under oath, and they probably felt like morons because they are morons. But here's the deal, man. They hand-selected a certain amount of journalists that were allowed to be in that room that they know would parrot whatever it is they wanted to be parroted. I mean, it's so obvious to me. It should be so obvious to the public. I feel very positive with the more lies they put forward, the more it is, and the more inaccuracies. Didn't they say like Harry Reid was a senator from New Mexico?
New Mexico.
I mean, they can't get the basic facts right. I feel bad for the people that wrote this report.
Congress is not letting this issue go. They're not buying that nonsense AARO, All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, historical review report, which essentially was a whitewash, a disgraceful whitewash, an attempt to put the whole subject matter back in the box, an attempt to discredit David Grush and other whistleblowers, and an outrageous slur on the good people who had the willingness to come forward and perhaps naively give their evidence to AARO. It wasn't a historical review at all. It was the continuation in a long line of Defense Department obfuscatory reports that have essentially attempted to always distract and defer public attention from the focus on UAPs.
It's time to make some noise to understand what it is they're trying to tell you and then counter that narrative with fucking facts.
In Jeremy Corbell's words, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, he is a piece of dog shit. He's basically another pawn set up through the Defense Department and the shadow government, who are in control of these military contractors that run the secret UFO re-engineering programs and new technology programs to do with anti-gravitic technology, which has been exposed. And to make it worse, it's even more embarrassing for the amount of stuff they've admitted to be real, like the Sergeant Nimitz case, where a flying saucer or 20 flying saucers were videoed by every single intelligence recording mechanism possible, and they're still now denying and basically forgetting that even happened, when they admitted that extraterrestrials or UFOs, unidentified flying crafts, are existing.
Aliens have not touched down on Earth. At least that's according to the Pentagon, who recently released a 63-page report. Read it. finding that most sightings were ordinary objects and phenomenon resulting in misidentification. The Department of Defense noted that sightings spanning since the 1940s were just misidentified experimental space and rocket systems and new stealth technologies, including drones. It's also shot down claims that the U.S. government is hiding a secret program that had been reverse engineering extraterrestrial technology. I don't know about you, but something tells me that this is not going to stop all of the questions about whether there's life out there.
And the other thing that's crazy is the level of hypocrisy that is now happening through AARO's statement, through their document that they've released, when they've just forgot about cases such as the Sergeant Nimitz case that was an admission by the Department of Defense saying that UAP are real and showing it on every radar system possible to what we have in technology today. So basically this is a pathetic attempt at lying to the public and putting out propaganda to the public, making us believe nothing to see here, move on, when really the reality of it is that their attempt at hiding this subject has just basically made them more obvious to be lying about it. And it's just pathetic how the Department of Defense have been made to put this AARO agency together to basically ridicule and then dismiss the subject of UAP when as all it's done is put more people's eyes towards the subject, more interest towards the subject. Now they have Congress after them and basically made themselves look more guilty.
It's presented to Congress as a fraud. You think that the public are being lied to, and you have direct first-hand witness evidence that you're prepared to testify about to Congress, which proves that lie.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm perfectly willing to testify to Congress about the first-hand direct photographic evidence that I saw of the crash retrieval of a UFO, which I'm convinced because of the symbols on it, we're not part of any nation state on our planet, and that I told this under oath directly to Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick as is an official AARO investigative hearing.
Pentagon says, you know what? You don't, nothing there.
Well, they would say that, wouldn't they? But the simple fact is, the simple fact is, I've been talking extensively to people inside that legacy crash retrieval and reverse engineering program, and as confronting as it may sound to this audience, it really is the case that there is a covert program that's been in operation now for decades. It's been kept secret by a very small cadre of people within the Pentagon and the intelligence community. And the big question to me really is, was AARO misled? Was the Pentagon's UFO body misled? Or did it not have the power to properly investigate? Because I don't think it did.
As this document states here, it tells you that the result is a misleading report, particularly egregious misrepresentation. The result is a misleading report which, like so many government UFO-related propaganda over 7 decades, tells the reader just to move on, nothing to see here. And that is exactly what's happening now throughout the ages. You can see a pattern here of a cover-up. It's so obvious. And it's funny to see how the mainstream media are happy to report on the new upcoming news of nothing to see here, no extraterrestrial technology found, and report it throughout the mainstream media, legacy media, also newspapers, social media platforms that all have algorithms controlled by governmental departments, I might just say. But when we've had 2 years worth of eyewitness whistleblowers coming out, Navy commanders coming out as first-hand witnesses, pilots coming out, guys in Congress coming out, and none of it has been reported. But as soon as we get some negative news of a cover-up, straight away it's out to promote. It's an organised cover-up through the legacy media that raises all the way through the government to the Department of Defense, all the way to the shadow government that is an international organisation. And that's exactly what we're being corrupted with. And most of the human population don't even care about this subject, and they don't even realise the wool that's been covered over their eyes. They have no idea what is actually happening with 0 point energy, the cover-up of it, and also the military-industrial complex control of all of our resources.
1800s and now, the ingenious inventions and sciences have all been ruthlessly confiscated. This is an alternative energy and propulsion device.
These technologies would end fossil fuels, pollution, and poverty overnight.
Which is fuel, fossil fuels, gas, coal. So what I'm trying to say here is do your research, keep an open mind, and see between the lines. Propaganda is being thrown through every social media network, every media avenue that we have. We do not live in a free country. America, Australia, New Zealand, England, all first world countries. We do not have freedom of speech. Just look at what happened to Russell Brand. Please follow my UFO Instagram channel, AussieUFOnews, and share this content.